Hey, I appreciate you guys coming in and watching this video or taking time out of your night or day to watch this video. Basically, I'm going to be showing some very personal information, which I normally don't do. I know everyone says that. That's like the going phrase, but I really actually normally wouldn't do something like this. But it's a few reasons why I'm posting this. One is that I want people to know many ways that you can be chastised or accused or labeled. And I also, another reason is just to inform people of what happens behind the scenes when you actually make complaints with powerful entities, powerful people, and how things can get, changed behind the scenes or altered. And a lot of illegal activities can happen, and where no one gets held accountable. And another reason obviously is just to let the people see how mental health is taken as a joke, and not only a joke, but taken and maybe added on to, where it becomes worse than what the original complaint was. So as I'm talking, you're probably most likely looking at the screen, so you can see the document in front of you, which is basically a handwritten notes from Jerry Beckford. She is the person that handles complaints, or she was the person at that time that handled complaints. She works in the OEOD department, which is the internal department within DOT in Newington. And she is to investigate when you have complaints of sexual harassment, discrimination, retaliation, anything of that sort. So this is dated 2019. It's very old. I'm coming out with this video now because basically it's still ongoing. So I will. This is. I have a stack of papers here. This is just like her handwritten notes here. I'll fan through them, but I'm not gonna read all of them. Not at this time. But what I will do is just read the first page, and then I'll go through some of the documents that, if you are watching, you get to see how you can be diagnosed with something. I guess, well, just listen and you'll see. So, this is me, Safiya Barr, talking now, and that is my name there, obviously. And so my title during this interview was Transportation Engineer Technician. The investigator, Jerry Beckford. I worked in the construction department in District 4. Race, black, female, phone number, and this date, Thursday. I met with her multiple times. This just happened to be the initial meeting. So keep that date in mind. A lot of dates will pop up. I tried to put these documents in order based on the occurrences. So it states, as she wrote as I was speaking. So, things in her handwriting are her handwriting. She's trying to keep up with what I'm telling her. So it's how long with DOT, ? Since, and this is my response to her from what she's taking in. So she's writing since 2014, which I can actually confirm that is correct, November 2014. So some of the things she wrote, she probably missed words. Maybe she put in her own terms, her own wording, but I can definitely verify that is correct. So My direct supervisor was Rich Ruditis. And so she's writing what I'm saying was happening based on when I was hired. So I'll just read it straight through and then talk about things as I read it. So since November 2014, my direct supervisor was Rich Ruditis, and parentheses SP. He is a white male, so I'm not sure if that means Spanish. I'm not really sure, but he was a white male. He was a chief inspector. His boss was Tom Weldon, who was a PE. Tom's boss was a supervising engineer named Matt Cleary. So Rich and Tom retired. Matt was transferred to District 3. When I started in November 2014, I worked in construction at District 4 under 3 supervisors for the Derby project. I think I was on the project for, this is, like I said, her handwriting, so I'm just reading what she's taken in from what I'm talking about. I think I was on the project from November 2014 to April 2015, but I have to check my notes. My daily work reports, which parentheses DWRs, have been deleted from the system. These reports would verify the dates I was on the project when I inquired about, and this is, period. So when I inquired about why I can't see my DWRs in the DOT site manager to John Dunham, he said after a certain amount of time, DWRs are wiped out of the system. So this is, like I said, this is her handwriting, but I will confirm the accuracy of this information that I stated to her that day. It may have been shortened and just for her to condense it into one page. Basically, in summary of this page, a couple of things happen. So when you're on a construction site, you're working with, as an inspector, you have your chief inspector is like your immediate person over you. And anytime you want to request time off or you're late or anything like that, your supervisor is a project manager, or project engineer, which is a PE. So even though the chief inspector is on the site with you and your guys are working together, if you are not a chief inspector, which I wasn't, then he is the person directly with you. He can train and things like that. But your supervisor is the PE, which was Tom Weldon when I got hired. So even though Matt Cleary's title is supervising engineer, he is the boss of the PE. So if you have a complaint with regards to the chief, you go to the PE. If you have a complaint with the against the PE, you go to the supervising engineer. So on and so forth. And then John Dunham is, at the time, he was the, his title was, I believe he was the assistant district engineer. So there's levels of supervisory hierarchy. And so you go through the chain of command that they want you to go through. I was in a union. However, with regards to the union, it is recommended that if you have complaints, you don't always have to go to the union, and you don't always have to go to E or OEOD. So I took it upon myself to report issues directly with John Dunham, and the supervisors you see listed here, Tom Weldon, Matt Cleary, in regards to any complaints I had against Rich. So, with that being said, it stemmed from 2014-15, and we are in 2023, just so you guys have a kind of, like how long has this been going on, kind of thing. So another video, I can actually go into this big packet and more, but right now I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to move on. And the reason why I read that is just so you can see, again, the date of my complaint. And like I said, I have prior dates of complaints, but specifically here, July 25th. And the harassment that continued, and I have documents on all that stuff as well, emails and things like that. But we're just going to move quickly, or maybe not quickly, but pass right through into this August 2019. So now you see James Ritter, he's the safety director. He crossed that July out. I did not do that, just for clarification. I was presented with, I'm trying not to put any opinion-based things in here at this time. I'm trying to just give you the factual evidence here. Obviously I have opinions, but right now I'm just going to stick to what, the dates and what things transpired during these dates. So we have, I don't know, not too many documents to go through, but anywho, so this letter, this is one of many, but we're going to go specifically to this. It says August 9, 2019. It just about maybe like a week or so after meeting with Jerry Beckford in the OEOD department. Like I say, I had met with just supervisors for my complaints. Nothing transpired. I did union complaints, met with the union rep, talked to union reps. Nothing of substance transpired. I mean, they all talked and communicated amongst each other. We had many meetings. I would say actually over maybe 50 meetings in the past 10 years or so. Like I said, I started in 2014 and we are in 2023. So about 9 years, right? So anywho, back to this document here. After my complaints, they ordered a fitness of duty appointment to be conducted. So this, like I said, I'm going to try to eliminate my opinion from anything. That way, I'm gonna save the thoughts and those things like that for another video. So right now I'm just gonna read it. You can obviously see it, but let me see if you can see the full document. So John Dunham, so this is Connecticut DOT. That's who the employer is. Division of Occupational Health and Safety. They are in the HR office in Newington. They share the same office. So this is a one of one, so it's a one-page document, but this is from James to District 4, John Dunham. So he writes a letter to John, according to this, but this was given to me. So it says, Mrs. Safiya Barr, Connecticut DOT Transportation Engineer Technician, employee number 12569, has been authorized to receive a fitness of duty exam. No state vehicle authorized. Please inform Ms. Barr of the requirement for her to attend this appointment and advise her of her appointment details below. Please obtain her assurance that she understands and will comply with the required as outlined. I'm over here getting something else ready to show you Ms. Barr's initial fitness of duty appointment is scheduled as follows: August 12, 2019, 2 p.m. This is going to be at UCONN Health, and then, main ground floor, 263 Farmington Ave, Farmington, Connecticut. And then it has the directions, and then Mrs. Barr responsibility related to fitness duty exam includes but not limited to attending initial appointment, and et cetera, et cetera. Ms. Barr is required. Well, obviously you can read with me, but so basically sufficient time to drive, and then goes down to the next bullet. Required to fully cooperate. Ms. Barr is responsible for making and keeping any follow-up appointments at said place. All follow-up appointments related to the initial fitness of duty scheduled during normal working hours. So this is all done during my work hours that I was required to do. Mind you, this was after all of my complaints. Mrs. Barr's failure to comply results in unauthorized leave. Any questions related to the appointments are directed to my office. So this was dated August 12, 2019. So now here we have, I met with a doctor they directed me to meet with, which was a Dr. Moore. So Mr. George Moore, you see, he checked off. Now, mind you, I did the exam with him. Now, here is this is just a lab test that he wanted to conduct on me, which I'm not sure exactly what Chem 7 means, but it's in this area here with glucose, bun, create, I'm not sure. Thyroid profile, as you can see. So this is in Farmington, and here's his name here, George Moore. What he did do, which I have to get more documents for you, but I'm not going to show you at this time. But I did, and this does show occupational med. I did. They did withdraw blood. He did an exam. Now, I'm just going to ask the question: why thyroid profile? There was no mention of that in my visit with him. This lab test was done after I met with him. So when you have a occupational appointment, I'm not sure. This is a question, I guess, maybe to anyone that knows the answer, but is there a reason a thyroid profile would be run? I'm not sure. So, okay, so that's that. I am exposing my medical documents because this is the whole stack of information I have here today. This is just only regarding medical and, doctor visits today, this video. There's much more, but I don't have everything at this time. Oh, excuse me, I'm sitting awkwardly, so I'm just moving around. So that is that. And here is now, we did drug testing. We did I'm just looking for an email so I can show you guys. I'm going to search Ritter in my email because I have a lot of communication with him. So I have my email here. Oop. So we're going to go to this one here. This one is 44 messages back and forth. So this is dated 12/3. I'm going to get back to that. I'm just going to keep it open over here because this might be a long video. But if you have time. So I got that one open. And then I also want to find my voicemails here that I have. And I'm going to get that open as well. That way you can just kind of get an idea of what was transpiring. I try to have everything documented so that when I have to go search for it, it's easy to find instead of just like, I think we spoke this day, or I think said thing happened this day. I usually have, like a voicemail or something I can kind of go back to reference, just so that, I can confirm the date with accuracy. So right now I'm going back in my voicemail history just because around that 2019 time, what I had them do is confirm these appointments that they were requiring me to do. They confirmed them via voicemail. So that way you can see how things let out. And just a FYI as well, while I'm looking for these, during this time frame, they were spreading my personal information around the job site with regards to these meetings. I have documentation on that as well. But that is, like I say, another day. I am running my voicemails all the way back to, let's go back all the way to 2019. I have 2019, 2000. Okay, so, all right, so here we are, UCONN. All right, so, August 20th. All right, so boom. Now, obviously, you don't know what transpires in the doctor's visits, but in the doctor's visits, you do meet with the doctor and you talk to them, so that either you record it or you keep your notes, which we'll just say for video purposes, I have documentation on everything that transpired. However, Dr. Moore did the test and then he referred me to psychiatric evaluation. The only mention that I have had with him about any mental, experience is my anxiety, which is also noted in the, I always say it wrong, but the OEOD. In the OEOD report, I mentioned many a times that the job is causing me anxiety. The people and what they're doing to me is causing me anxiety. I've never had any history of it. I've never had any history of mental health, nothing of that sort. So it's stemming from this job. So I mentioned that, which is why I thought I was being sent to this appointment, in order for me to document what was happening. So this whole time I was thinking that they were making sure that I was okay due to my complaints of harassment and things and other things. So the fitness of duty, I guess I just, fell for the invasion. The invasion of the privacy. So again, we get back to this letter. This is dated August 23rd. So just for date purposes, I met with him August 12th. And so here we have, I'm going to try to show the messages without showing my personal information. Well, you already have a lot of my personal information, but I can play it. But I just wanted you to see, I do have the phone number there. That is the UCONN phone number, 860-679-5000. So I can play it.
Hi, Safiya. This is Tanya calling from UCONN Health Outpatient Psychiatry. We're trying to get you in for your initial intake visit. Your doctor had called and asked us to try to expedite this. Our number is 860-679-6700. Ask for Tanya. Thank you. Bye.
All right, so that is the August 20th, 2019 doctor visit appointment, or excuse me, her calling to set the appointment up. Now, again, I have records that I can show for the Dr. Moore visit, which he did a drug test and things like that, which are always negative. I've never failed a drug test. I never had any history of drug use. I do not even drink. So it's like I'm at this point where drinking, drugs, nothing, mental health, anything in my past, even medically, diagnoses, if you will. Like I don't take any medication or anything. So all of this stuff is basically, this, like I said, I'm going to take my opinion out of it for now because it's like I'm at the edge of wanting to tell you what I want to say. But I'll keep it out for now until the next video. So the August 20th was the doctor's psychiatry office calling me to make an appointment. This was after George Moore contacted that department. Now, keep in mind, I didn't request him to do that. He requested that on his own after I stated anxiety. So I guess that's mental. I mean, who knew? I don't know much about that. So I just knew that they were causing that upon me. So I mentioned it in the visit. And as I mentioned it in my intake for the complaint. So now we have, this is a letter coming from James Ritter again. And now it's written to me this time. And remember previously it was written to John Dunham for him to give to me. This is who is CC'd in it. Paula Yukna is she is the attorney in the DOT office in Newington. She represents many defendants in cases, I guess, when it's discrimination and things like that against the agency's employees. But she does not represent the plaintiff. So John Dunham is he was the assistant district engineer during the time of my initial complaint. The day of this letter, I cannot recall. I would have to go back in my notes, but his title might have changed at that point, I think he was transitioning from his title. He was I think by this time he was a district engineer, but I think he was even transitioning to even a higher position during the time of this letter, August 23rd, 2019. Rich Simons, like I said, everyone was transitioning as far as those two. He went from when I first started, he was the assistant district engineer. And then he bumped to district engineer. The dates that is yet to be confirmed at this time. So stay tuned for another video for that. Shawn Beaulieu, he was my supervising engineer at this time of this letter, which is August 23rd, 2019. Obviously, you remember previously my supervising engineer was Matt Cleary. So how it works, just to be clear, whenever you are on a construction project, per project that you are placed on, your supervising engineer, your PE, your chief inspector basically can change. So you can have one set of supervising engineers, and once you switch a project, you just have a whole new set. It can be sometimes the same supervising engineer can run more than one project, so you might end up keeping the same supervising engineer, maybe not. You might have the same supervising engineer, but then maybe a different PE, and maybe you are the chief and maybe you're not. I've never been a chief, but on different projects, many other inspectors are chiefs, and that is just a breakdown just for clarification. But they were all CC'd in this, so they did get a copy of this document here. It's still stapled, so you can see that it's just basically a one-page document, and the second page is the CC of it. So again, safety memorandum directed to me from James Ritter. He's a safety director. It says fitness for evaluation. So now, at this point, this letter is for mental health purposes. So it is your responsibility to fully cooperate and communicate with the UCONN medical staff and such CTDOT staff as required during the course of the fitness of duty evaluation. Listed below are specific actions you are required to comply with, all of which, if necessary, are to be considered to be a direct order. Failure to comply with the requirements may result in loss of pay, disciplinary action, or termination from state service. So, you can literally see exactly what he's saying. You are required, you are required, you are required. I think he says it about 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9 times. So everything is a requirement. I already showed you the voicemail from the UCONN Health. So that just states, contact today, confirm the next appointment, make yourself available, directly communicate with UCONN medical staff, schedule all appointments related to fitness of duty evaluation, allow sufficient time to drive, notify district engineer John Dunham, and attend scheduled appointments at UCONN, verbally notify UCONN medical staff and John Dunham, or district engineer John Dunham. There goes the confirmation of his title at that time. So he was a district engineer, but again, during this week or this month, he was transitioning out of that district into a role in Newington. I'm not sure what his title was, but I can get that information. But he definitely was transitioning during that time. He actually was one that was harassing me as well and following me, during certain times. So we'll just leave that for another day. That is something that he did, just so you have an idea of who he is. And then fully cooperate, communicate with staff during this fitness of duty. So fitness of duty it's basically a requirement that you have to fulfill because, you know, you're working in a construction site and, you know, if they request that you do it. So the whole time I'm thinking that they were doing this because, like I say, here's the juice here. I don't want to call it the juice, but this is the appointment that, let me just turn it over for now because I don't want you to guys read it just yet. I want to look for, this is a psychiatric evaluation that was done. And what I did not find, which I have, is they sent me to a, so let me go back here. Mind you, every time they call from the same number. UCONN Health registration, August 22nd. So I'm just going to look. I met with him. So Tanya called me. So Tanya, yeah, so here goes August 22nd from UCONN. I'm going to just play it. This was the appointment that they had for me. Now keep in mind, just so you know, so you see Michael Rayel, he's a psychiatric MD. But what happened is they sent me to a Dr. Jeffrey O'Neill first because it was, again, I'm going to try to leave the opinion out of there, but they sent me to this person first, which is outpatient. So you can see, you'll see. Oh no, I just closed it. All right, here it is. I'm going to press play. You can see that it is, obviously my Google Voice, which is cool because it saves, I have emails and everything and voicemails and things like that from probably like 20 years ago. So this, I'm going to press play. This is who they scheduled me to. This is August 2019. Remember, this is August 22nd. This is August 23rd. So I met with this person, or excuse me, I had to meet with this person. So this was a message with my appointment time, and this was the letter that came just to basically say, like, you are going to be complying. So here it is here.
Hi, this is UCONN Health Registration Department calling for Safiya Barr. You have an appointment coming up on August 27th at 2:30 with Jeffrey O'Neill. So we're just calling to remind you of that appointment and also to get you pre-registered prior to the visit. If you could please call us back. It's 860-679-1600, option 1. And our hours are Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30. Thanks very much.
Okay, so that's to meet with Jeffrey O'Neill. I did not meet with him. Oh, excuse me, I take that back. I met with him, but I was not supposed to meet with him according to them. I met with Jeffrey O'Neill. He's outpatient. When I went to meet with him, he told me that someone booked me for the wrong office. I was not supposed to meet with him, so he canceled the visit that day that I went. I actually have documentation to show that I went. They took a picture of my ID. I filled out forms. And after all that, it was basically, I was told that I was in the wrong place. But I wasn't the one that booked it, as you can see and you can hear from the voicemail. It shows that they set that up. I did not set it up. So now, after I met with him, I actually received another voicemail. This is after I met with Jeffrey O'Neill. And I'm bringing that up because I'm going to turn this over just so. I want to read this to you, but you guys, you can look at it as well. But I don't know why. Okay, there's the UCONN. I'm just going back. And then I'm bringing it up basically the day after. This appointment was for August 27th. Let me play it one more time.
Hi, this is UConn Health Registration Department calling for Safiya Barr. You have an appointment coming up on August 27th at 2:30.
Okay, so August 27th, I met with Jeffrey O'Neill. Then after that, you can see that the very next day, after I supposedly was with the wrong person, I then was scheduled to meet with Michael Rayel August 28th and August 28th and August 16th. 3 hours. So, one day was an hour and a half and the other day was an hour and a half. And I can find that voicemail, but for some reason my phone is freezing, so I'll find it after, if anything. Let me see, maybe it'll work. Hold on, give me 1 second while you can just read that in the meantime. I'm just scrolling back to August. Let me see if I have the voicemail from them for that day, because I just to show, for showing purposes, you can see that factually, the evidence that shows when I met with people, when it happened, how it happened, what they said to me. And I didn't just say, oh, I have, psychiatric problems and I need help. They set these appointments up because, again, as I stated, I do not have a psychiatric problem. But I'll get to the whole basis of why this video is even conducted in the first place by me. I'm still scrolling here. Like I said, this is my Google Voice, so I really love Google Voice because I have documentation dating way back. So I'm in 2019 now. I am bringing it back to, let's see, I'm going to look around August 20. All right, so here's July, here's August. So I played August 22nd. Okay, so again on August 22nd, here is, let's see, here's August 26th. This might be the one where they changed the date. I'm not sure. Let me play it so you can see it again. And I'm going to just play it. It has a transcription, but sometimes the transcription is a little bit off, so.
Hello, this call is from UConn Health Center Registration. This message is for Safiya. Please give us a call to update your information at 860-679-1600 and choose option 1. Our hours are 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Thursdays and Fridays from 8 to 4:30 p.m. Thank you and have a great day.
Okay, so now that was August 26th, right? So I'm going to play 27th. So this is them calling me with the confirmation for this appointment, right? Same number again, 860-679. This is UConn Health Center.
Yes, hi. This message for Safiya Barr. This is Susan from Dr. Rayel Clinic and you have an appointment with him, a consultation appointment tomorrow scheduled. Please make sure to be here on time. We are he's gonna see you around 9:30. If you can be here 9:30 to do some paperwork. Our location, 263 Farmington Avenue. That's in Farmington, Connecticut, 06030. When you come and follow the signs to parking garage number 3, park there and come in through the main entrance. When you get in, take the escalator, take the escalator up to first floor, go straight toward the windows, turn right, third door on your right. The clinic name is Mood and Anxiety, and the clinic phone number is 860-679-3322. One more time, 860-679-3322. And your appointment is confirmed tomorrow with Dr. Rayel for a fitness of duty evaluation. So you need to be here at 9:30 to do your paperwork. Thank you and have a nice day.
Okay, so you see the length of this voicemail. This is August 27th. Mood and Anxiety, I guess the name of his clinic. He is not an employee of the hospital. So mood and anxiety, and the phone number was let me see. I just want to document that on this voicemail, on this video call here. 860-679-3322. And then we have, let me see, I don't think I have any other voicemails from them that I can see at this moment in time. So now what we're going to do is I'm just going to read through this, his evaluation. It is looks like 7 pages long, okay? So, boom. All right, so what we got here, 7 pages. All right, so I'm going to try to read it, I'm going to show it as well so you can read it faster, slower, whatever you like. So he is the assistant professor, Department of Psychiatry, UCONN Health, Adult Geriatric Consultation Liaison, Forensic Psychiatry. September 18, 2019. So refer source and disclosure. The following report is an independent psychiatric evaluation of Miss Safiya Barr, referred to doctor, or not doctor, it doesn't state doctor, but Michael G. Rayel, MD, by Mr. James Ritter, Safety Director on behalf of the Connecticut Department of Transportation, CTDOT. Informed consent. Mrs. Barr is aware and understands that this is a fitness of duty, FFDE, requested by Connecticut DOT, her employer, that there is no physician-patient relationship, and this report will be submitted to her employer. Hence, there are limits to confidentiality. Please see the separate informed consent document for details. So again, I said it before, I met with him twice. So the interview with Ms. Barr for 3 hours on August 28th and August 16th. The 16th, I cannot confirm that was the correct date. That one I will have to double check, but as you can see from my voicemails, they had me for Dr. O'Neill, and I showed that already, so I'm not even going to get on to the date. The point is that I did meet with him twice, but the second date, I'm not sure what that is there, the 16th, because I don't think it was the 16th. I think it could have been, I think it was in September, but let's not confirm that yet. So anyway, I wasn't aware of who he met with prior to me, but as you can see here, or prior or after me, you can see he met with Wanda Selden. She's the DOT HR director for a duration of, it says an hour and 20 minutes, and it says on August 30th and September 20th. Mind you, he met with me August 28th. I'm not sure why I don't know the date. Let me just see if I can double check if I have another voicemail. That way we can have some more clarity. And anyway, it says the 16th. Usually the sooner date would be before that. But I'm just going to go back to the 16th just to double check. But I do not have anything for the 16th on voicemails. But yeah, I do not. No, it definitely wasn't the 16th because his voicemail, that lengthy voicemail said that I would be filling out paperwork and stuff like that for registration. So that was on the, okay, here we go. We got another one. We got another voicemail on the 27th. Let's play this one here. Let's see. Nope, that's the same one there. That's the same one. This was on the 27th. That's the same one that I played already. So anyway, I don't want to dwell on the date, but definitely it wasn't the 16th. That it might have been September 16th. I'm not. It might have. I think it was September 16th. Let's say that, because it definitely wasn't before August 28th, because August 28th was our first visit. So with that being said, that date is inaccurate. Interview number 2, interview with Wanda Selden. It was an hour and 20 minutes, August 30th, and September 20th. So from just thinking this date is wrong, I'm thinking, or let's not tell you what I'm thinking, but anyway, so then that was the HR director, the interim HR director. She was interim HR director at that moment in time, because the previous HR director had retired, I believe. So, because I know that letters that I had received from her during this duration, up until even present day, the titles changed. So I'll just say at that moment in time she was that. Like I said, a lot of people had different titles during this duration. And then he interviewed Mr. Shawn Beaulieu, who was my supervisor, and he had been my supervisor for a couple months. So, and he met with him for, it says 30 minutes on. And like I said, I can't confirm or deny these dates or these meeting times with these people. I'm just reading it as you are reading it. Interview with Ada Alvarez, who it says for about 10 minutes. Now, Ada Alvarez is someone from EEO. I know I'm always saying that thing wrong, but OEOD. OEOD, yeah. Even though it says Equal Opportunity Diversity Office, it is OEOD. So he met with her for 10 minutes. She was a person that I think she was like a witness in a room when I had made my initial complaint back in like 2015 or 2017 with the OEOD. I can't confirm that was her, but I was told by others that she was in the room. So meeting with her for 10 minutes, and I'm not really sure who she is, but I know she might have been in the room as far as what I was told from that name. Again, that I can't confirm. I'm just letting you know what I was told. Then, looks like my phone battery, the light turned off on me, so it's probably not as bright as it was. I'm probably gonna turn my light on my other phone there, just to give it some brightness. But then interview with Eric Smith. He was new, but he is the director of the OEOD. And so, just for clarification as well, I only met with him for about 5 minutes in my entire time working there. However, he might have read any notes or anything in the files about me, but he, for him to, I guess, interview, I'm not really sure, what information he could have told about me, because I had many complaints. So for my psychiatric evaluation that is being conducted, I'm not sure what the OEOD would be stating when, again, they are receiving complaints that I'm initiating, and neither one of them were the persons I complained to. So that is just for context. Neither one, Ada or Eric. Then it says reviewed documents, including Mr. Beaulieu's and Mrs. Nancy Bryant's accounts for about an hour. So he reviewed notes from Mr. Beaulieu that he submitted. I'm assuming he was the supervisor. Nancy Bryant is the person who I made the complaint to. She was at the time the director of OEOD. She was basically Eric Smith. Many years ago, back when I first started, she was in his role. So he took over. Again, I met with her to make my complaints. And that is another email, another video for another day. And then, let's see, I'm trying to shine my light over here, but I'll leave it up top here. And then, and then it says results of mental health screening tools. So those are the sources. The mental health screening tools is basically the form I fill out when I first meet with him, stuff like that. So anyway, with that being said, go down to the identification information. So it says Safiya Barr, 37-year-old female. Right now I'm 41, so at the time I was 37 when this was conducted, who was referred for fitness of duty evaluation as a transportation engineer technician. She has been at DOT since January 13, 2012. That is inaccurate because on this page he says that I was here since 2014, which that is accurate. I don't know where this date came from as far as working for DOT, because that's not correct. So not sure. Anyway, such request for FFDE stems from concerning behaviors she has displayed at Connecticut DOT. Now, again, the behaviors, these are my complaints. This is my, so that's all I want to say on that. Like I said, I'm going to leave my opinion out of it at this time and just talk facts. So this is what he wrote. So that's page 1. So here's the history of concerns. It says, relevant history. Mrs. Barr reports that since 2014 until now, she has suffered sexual harassment, discrimination, threats, abuse of power in positions of authority by people in positions of authority. She has felt they are trying to get me, and a DOT supervisor has made false accusations against her. She feels that DOT is impeding her progress. In her first year at DOT, she states she was only allowed to do office work rather than to work in the construction sites. This certainly upsets her. She has made multiple complaints, but she states that the DOT admin has not addressed her complaints. When her concerns were referred to Wanda Selden, the Director of Human Resources, she states that Ms. Selden accused her of lying instead. Furthermore, she reports that Ms. Nancy Bryant, the previous affirmative action officer who investigated her complaints, wrote a report that she was the one who made false statements. It says, as a result of that report, she considers her as corrupt. At one time, her supervisor told her that a state trooper made complaints about her, so now she is always on guard. when she sees a state trooper within the work area. Recently, her concerns were referred to Mrs. Jerry Beckford. She says that initially Mrs. Beckford was very accommodating, but now she feels that Mrs. Beckford is rushing her to provide information, even wanting her to give details, even when she is at home. It says due to her perceived work-related issues, she feels very stressed, even experiencing significant anxiety and insomnia, and at times depression. This is not true, but like I say, I'm just going to read it because I can go on for days interjecting with a lot of these things he wrote. But she often wonders what they're going to do next, which causes significant distress. Despite these difficulties, she reports no psychiatric treatment or therapy. In fact, she states she's doing well at home. She works out at least once a week and dances, her favorite hobby, 5 times a week, from 1 to 2 hours at a time. As well, she loves to hang out with her 2 kids. When asked about psychiatric symptoms, she denies hallucinations. Hallucinations, I can't even read that word because I'm not familiar with it. Bizarre delusions, and what is it? Hypomanic and hypomanic or manic symptoms. As well, she reports no safety issues such as death wishes, suicidal, or homicidality. Homicidality, I guess. She contracts for safety. So past psychiatric history. Mrs. Barr reports no prior psychiatric history or treatment, suicidal, homicidality, new word for me, or alcohol or drug problems. Her medical history is unremarkable, as well as she denies any significant medical, neurologic, or surgical problems. She is not on any medication. So the unremarkable, keep that in your head as I read it, but I'll touch on that later. Moreover, her family history of mental illness is negative for psychiatric illness or treatment, suicidality, homicidality, or alcohol and drug problems. Personal and social history. This is page 3 now. Mrs. Barr is a second in the brood of 8. All siblings are professionals and are doing well. My kids at the time, their ages, both doing well, no behavioral concerns. When not working, she loves spending time with them. Academically, she has finished office administration course. Then she went on to finish construction management degree. That is inaccurate. Never have I mentioned any of this as far as completion. But we'll just, like I say, I'll keep all that till after. After she obtained her degree at Charter Oak, she pursued a master's degree at Albertus Magnus. Before her stint at DOT, she was in marketing for over 15 years, or in marketing for 15 years. For the past few years, she has been working at DOT as a transportation engineer technician. Before I came to DOT, I was in construction as well. So just to note that. Note, Ms. Barr does not want to give names of coworkers except for one, but no email or phone number was given, or phone was given. Phone number and email definitely was given. I actually have an email that I sent to Dr. Moore, the person who transferred or referred me to him, sent me to him. So I have that email. That way it does show that he has that contact information on who he was supposed to contact. But, you know, when you're during meetings like this, when you're doing medical, evaluations and things like that, is how you say your word against his. So there's no proof of what I actually wrote down, just for note purposes. So, mental status. Oh, here's where we get to, let me see. We got how many more pages before I don't want my phone to die, but so now, mental health. On the examination, she appears generally calm, pleasant, cooperative, but she becomes emotional when you talk about the work environment at DOT. She looks her stated age in casual dress with good hygiene. Generally, she is not in distress or shows any psychomotor agitation or retardation, abnormal movements, gait impairment, or behavioral changes such as aggression or violence. But when she talks about her experiences at work, she exhibits mild distress and agitation. Her affect is generally neutral, and his mood is I'm okay. I guess that was a typo maybe. Her eye contact is good and her speech is clear and goal oriented, but she becomes loud when she talks about work. She shows no formal thought disorder such as flight of ideas or looseness of association. It says, moreover, she does not show any mania, hypomania, obsessions, compulsions, bizarre delusions, hallucinations, or cognitive deficits. However, she appears to, let me get this light, she appears to have paranoia, persecutory in nature, as she believes that some DOT coworkers are out to get her. For details, please see paranoia screening tool. Her sight and judgment are poor to fear. So poor to fear. This is based on the stuff I filled out, and I do have those pictures and things like that, but we'll save that for another day. On the mental health tool, screening tool, she receives the following scores. Now, keep in mind the questions are related to, how do you, in the past 2 weeks, such and such. I do have the form. I'll present it another day. But have you, have a good night's sleep? How many hours do you sleep? They ask certain questions like, do you think that someone is trying to sabotage you? Do you think that someone is retaliating against you? Things like that. So the questions, I guess, comes out with a number at the end where they grade you. So with that being said, oh, there goes the September 4th of, I suppose it's the date that I took each one. So it says September 4th, we have 6, which is mild depression. And then on August 28th, same thing, mild depression. On August, that was for patient health questionnaire. And then for generalized anxiety disorder, on this September 4th, you have 15, which is severe anxiety. And then on the August 28th, you have moderate anxiety. And so for quick inventory of depressive symptomatology, it says mild. I don't know what that means, but I would have to look that up. PTSD checklist, civilian version. September 4th, it says 44, which is moderately high severity for PTSD. And then on August 28th, it was higher. It was 54 for PTSD. And then suicidal behaviors, it says 0. So now paranoia, this is, I guess, the notates. I don't know where they get this from, if he just wrote it or if it comes from, let me move it up so you can see. Right here, boom. So I don't know if it comes from like the form I filled out or if he just types it in, I'm not sure. But it says paranoia screening tool, significant positive symptoms. She holds the belief that at work she needs to be on guard. Negative comments about her are being put around, and people are deliberately trying to irritate. It says irritate her, but yeah. So, and then that was page 3. So now we're going to go to continuing from the paranoia. This is the paranoia screening tool. She is being followed, which in actuality is correct. And so I again, like I say, I will leave my opinion out of it, just because it's going to be what I know to be true, but it is going to be almost stated as, well, maybe it's not right, Safiya. But I'm going to have that discussion on a whole nother video so that you know exactly what they're doing and when they're doing it, during what durations and things like that. So anyway, she's being followed. People are trying to make her upset. People communicate about her in her indirect ways. People are hostile to her, towards her. I actually have, some documentation on supervisors admitting, what they did and apologizing. But then again, that is in the 50-page document that is with OEOD, which is public information. Some DOT employees have bad intentions towards her, though she's basically those that she's complained on. Some DOT employees have it in for her, those she's complained against. Bruce and Brian would harm her if given the opportunity. There is a possibility of conspiracy against her by DOT. And then she is under threat by Bruce. That was the supervisor at this time. Excuse me. He was the chief inspector on the actual job project during this evaluation. And so it went Bruce. Then it was then you had the PE, and then you had your supervising engineer, which again he was notated in this document as given an interview. So no, Ms. Barr states that positive symptoms in all screening tools are work related. So, which is what he documented. So these are all, I guess the next 2 pages are what the referral sources say. I am going to skip through that real quick, but you can see it. I'll show it. I'm not going to read it. So here's his opinion. Assessment and opinion regarding Mrs. Barr's mental health. It is my opinion, with a reasonable degree of medical certainty, that Mrs. Barr suffers from probable delusional disorder as manifested by chronic and pervasive overvalued ideas and false fixed beliefs of paranoia that are persecutory in nature without clear supporting evidence. She strongly believes that DOT people are out to get her, that she is being treated unfairly, that there is an ongoing conspiracy. She passionately believes that she is sexually harassed and discriminated against. Moreover, she claims that she received threats from DOT people, thus she fears for her life. That her supervisors have abused their power, deliberately impeding her progress. According to Supervisor Mr. Beaulieu, she tends to misrepresent and misread the statements or actions from DOT employees. Moreover, she accuses Mrs. Nancy Bryant, retired, the person who investigated her complaint in 2017, as corrupt and who made false statements against her in her report. Close scrutiny of Mrs. Bryant's report did not show apparent bias against her. It says, with such strong beliefs, she has made multiple complaints and accusations against coworkers in any district she is assigned. I don't know any district that I was assigned. It says, with such strong beliefs, let me go back. Yeah. Based on available information. Based on available information, she has not been too cooperative during investigations. In fact, she needed to be mandated to appear in the investigation. I'm not sure what that means. So far, her claims have not been substantiated. The paranoia. So far, her claims have not been substantiated. I'm just gonna show. Now, keep in mind that I'm just gonna show the letter. So remember, so this again, remember this is dated September 18th, 2019. Now, for some strange reason, I'm looking for the letter of substantiation because it was substantiated. I'm just looking for that right now. Well, while I look for that, it says the paranoia screening tool summarizes her belief as follows: she needs to be on guard. Negative comments are being put around. People deliberately tried to irritate her. I think he mentioned this stuff before. I feel like it's repeating. Let me just double check again. So mind you, this is page 6. This is page 6. I hope it's not cut off. Is it cut off? Yeah, it is. So this is page 6. And then this is page 4. So he just basically repeats the same thing again. As you can see, she's being followed. She's upset. DOT employee. So he literally copy pasted that same thing. As you can see. So 4 and then 5, and then it repeats that same exact thing right there. So the page probably would have been. Let's see. I was looking for right here. So far, her claims have not been substantiated. Let me just show you the substantiation letter. I'm not sure why I cannot find it for some strange reason. In the meantime, you can look at that. You see, if I have it in my phone here, I do have the letter. I have the actual letter, but I'm just going back to my phone because I know I have it in my phone as well. So I'm just going back to my phone. That way, it's probably faster. I have a whole document of like, my stomach is growling right now. So, okay, I did find it. This is just a screenshot. So as you can see, because I had posted this video at one time, but I have the actual letter. It's just somewhere, and this is dated February 2020. So from the time that I met with the EE or E, I always say it wrong, OEOD. Remember the date, 2019, all the way until here. She took these 50 pages or whatnot and made a finding of sufficient evidence. And obviously I covered it up, but I do have the actual document. But basically, it was substantiated, the sexual harassment, affirmative action, policy and procedures, violations, and it was on an ongoing basis because, again, it's been happening for almost a decade. So that is just, I just wanted to show that during this duration because it says here, so far her claims have not been substantiated. So you do remember that I met with her before this appointment. I met with her, and this is just one of the dates, but I met with her multiple times. That she didn't conclude it until February of 2020. I did not meet with her any more days after February 2020. Not one time did I meet with her. So it just goes to show you that, oh, what are we going to do? Keep my opinion out of it. Okay, let me stop. So I'm going to go carry on. This is all repeat. Due to the beliefs, she made multiple complaints about her perceived false accusations against her and her fear on treatment or unfair treatment. Due to these beliefs, she has made multiple complaints about perceived false accusations against her and unfair treatment. I'm not sure why it's written that way. Also, she strongly believes that DOT has not done anything to address her complaints or her many work-related concerns. After this investigation and is sufficient evidence and the investigation closed, they placed me back with the same supervisor. So, just so you know, that's just for context there. So, such persecutory beliefs have resulted in depression, anxiety, and sufficient distress, and have negatively impacted her work performance, particularly her ability to engage with coworkers and with those people who are in positions of authority as well. Based on reports, she has consistently failed to do her assignments, her assigned tasks. Questions to be addressed. It says, as a transportation engineer technician, Ms. Barr is required to work within a complex of hazardous construction environment. I'm not sure if these are questions that the DOT requested of him. I think so, because it says his response. So it says, can Ms. Barr work with complex environment without posing hazard to herself or others? And so because, remember, we're diagnosing me as paranoid, so he said with paranoia, it's hard. Now, keep in mind, I don't have paranoia, but this is the strategy that they have used. So with her paranoia, it's hard, and it's going to be hard for her to work in a complex, hazardous environment. Although her false beliefs have impaired her functioning and interaction with supervisors and coworkers, there is no evidence that such work environment will pose an acute threat to her or others at this time. Although her false beliefs. So remember, false beliefs, sufficient evidence. I don't know. So what else we have? Ms. Barr, here's another question. Ms. Barr has demonstrated her unwillingness to interact with coworkers, supervisors, managers, and contractors. Does Ms. Barr have the ability to work in an environment where air interaction with others on a regular basis is required in order to perform her duties. His response, presently she lacks that ability. As long as she firmly holds such false beliefs, he keeps stating this false belief thing, her ability to interact and engage with coworkers will continue to suffer. So far, her work performance has been below standard. So he's stating this based on, I guess, what they're stating in maybe the interviews. I'm not sure. Remember, I bypassed their interview information, which I could always go back to later, but I read it before, but I haven't read it lately. So it says, then the third question, does Ms. Barr have the ability to work with a structured chain of command where both written and verbal communication with supervisors, coworkers, and contractors is required? Presently, she lacks that ability. With her beliefs, it's going to be difficult for her to work with a structured chain of command, to follow important critical instructions and accomplish vital tasks and assignments. As of this writing, her engagement and communication at work have already been dismal. So question number 4, what steps would be necessary to assist Ms. Barr to become more cohesive and productive of the construction team? Ms. Barr requires psychiatric evaluation and treatment to reduce or to treat her significant level of paranoia that results in depression, anxiety, distress, and functional impairment. Mrs. Barr's observed behaviors have left the impression that she has a general disdain or disregard for supervisory authority. Is she able to work with a structured chain of command? This is a question from them. Mrs. Barr's observed behaviors have left the impression that she has general disdain and disregard for supervisory authority. Is she able to work in a structured chain of command where employee and supervisor relationship are required? Presently, she lacks the ability. Her beliefs have been difficult, if not been possible, for her to maintain a good working relationship with supervisors and coworkers. So the finalization of this letter, you can see it says, my professional opinion is based on the available data as provided with Mrs. Barr's by Ms. Barr, DOT employees, and verbal and written accounts from DOT, results of mental health screening, and my clinical evaluation. I would have liked to obtain Mrs. Barr's friends and family to know more about her and how her life and behavior look like outside of work. However, she has not given me any name to interview, and in fact, she does not want me to communicate with them about her. If new information becomes available in the future or after this report is submitted, then my opinion might change. Thank you very much for this opportunity to help address your serious concerns. So basically, the opportunity to make, I guess he's a consultant, from what I understand. So he did that. Okay. So now I am going over here to this letter. So now here is, just so you know, this was dated, I gotta mention this again, this was dated September 18th. I was not given this whole time I continue to work. I was not given this document until November 20th. And if it was such a grave danger or some urgent matter, I'm not sure why they held on to the letter. But I wasn't given it until this day, where, I think it was, my birthday is the 23rd. So about 3 days before my birthday, they presented me with this letter, which states, the transportation engineer is directed to me from, the safety director. And he gave me the review of report, which was that report I just read. So the final report for fitness of duty has been completed. You are scheduled for a mandatory meeting with George Moore from UCONN. So mind you, I never met back with Dr. Rayel. I ended up meeting with George Moore, which is the medical doctor who I initially met with back in August 12th, I believe, 2019. So for a mandatory meeting. So James Ritter gave me this letter on the 20th to let me know that I have to meet with him and Dr. Moore on the 22nd. And this meeting, failure to, da, da, da. So mind you, my birthday, he gave it to me on a Friday. They waited till my birthday, just so you know. My birthday is 23rd, so that way I have to come back from my birthday and undergo this next meeting. So the first meeting was this. And it was for me to go meet with Dr. Moore. When I met with Dr. Moore, I went there and there was no meeting. It was basically him saying, I'm not really sure why they had you come here. Basically, I went there for no reason because nothing happened. It was just me going there and they were like, we're going to do an evaluation of you again. And I'm like, okay, I thought we did that already. So I'm not sure what they, expected to gain from that. I'm just letting you know what happened. So I had to meet with him at 2:00, went back to work, and then gave his directions. And then after that, I was supposed to meet on the 25th in Newington. So on the 25th in Newington, that's when I was presented the document. Dr. Moore had it. Dr. Moore did not give it to me on this meeting. He waited until he was in the Newington office and he handed it to me. So it says you will meet with Dr. Moore and myself. I would like to reiterate that the mandatory meeting, those things like that. And again, same people CC'd. Jackie Ciampi is HR. She's I forgot her title, but she's an HR person. Wanda is HR. Shawn Beaulieu is the supervising engineer. Rich is the district engineer. And John Dunham was I think at that time, maybe he transitioned over into the construction administrator, which is in Newington office. So he had bumped up to that role by then. So now, here we have, so after I met on Monday, now you have the very next day where they write this letter to me. And this is where it gets starts to get a little bit more in depth into my life, where you can see that University of Connecticut indicates that, so the evaluation is indicating that lack of ability to work in a structured command. Mind you, this is based on the write-up from Dr. Rayel. Lack of ability to follow important critical instructions, lack of ability to work in an environment where she can interact with and communicate with others and those things that you can read. So basically they're reiterating what was written in the evaluation. James Ritter wrote this up. The evaluation also indicates that you may be able to regain abilities, but only after further psychiatric evaluation. So this starts the invasion into my life now. So it also indicated that until it is accomplished, you should not remain in the workplace. Right? So now, effective the 26th, which is the Tuesday after my birthday, I was placed on administrative leave, pay, until December 3rd, right? So now, during the administrative leave, you must provide the department with a medical cert. See the enclosed cert. I'll show you that in a second. It's Form P33A. If an acceptable medical cert is not provided by close of business day on December 3rd, you will be placed on unauthorized leave without pay. It is important for you to understand that unauthorized leave of more than 5 days will result in separation from state service. Okay? So, if you provide this required medical certificate covering your absence from work, you will be able to use your sick leave, personal leave, and if you choose so, vacation accruals. So you can see down here how much time I had left, right? This is a 3-page document. Second page of it is just breaking down, the same dates he mentioned that you have to, by end of close of business day, the accrual will start. You basically are on leave from, this is administrative leave with pay, right? With pay from this date to this date. The Tuesday to, so the 26th to the 3rd. I had to get all this stuff in. Read it. It says, in order for the department to hold your position for this length of time, let's see, you will be required, and the department may be able to verify that you are committed to actively engaged in doing what is necessary to receive acceptable medical return to work clearance, right? So they placed me on administrative leave, but then I needed a medical return to work clearance, right? Required action that must be taken includes contacting a medical doctor of your choosing, also referred to as the treating physician, for purposes of determining the best ways to produce or proceed so that you may receive a more in-depth psychiatric evaluation and treatment as they deem necessary. The second bullet, provide the treating physicians a full copy. So this is the second piece that really was important to know. Anyone who I went to receive this this return to work clearance had to get a copy of this treating physician's copy, this document from the. All right, my phone had died briefly for a moment. So anyway, I'm gonna try to get this done so I can just before it dies again. But I got the charger on now, so we'll see. So anyway, right before it died, I was just mentioning that they put me on leave for administrative with pay so that I can get this evaluation done. But the stipulation before I could return was to get a return to work medical clearance, right? So while I was on administrative leave with pay for that, I guess, week and a half duration or so. And then I was to return with a medical clearance, right? So the problem, let's take that opinion out again. Like I say, the stipulation was that I had to provide whoever I went to, whoever I chose, my own personal doctor, whoever I chose, I had to provide them with this Dr. Rayel's report, which was that, how many page document? I think it was 7 pages. 7-page document. Anybody who I went to had to get that. That was the requirement. Okay, so don't ask me. In this meantime, I spoke with attorneys and things like that. That, again, everything is like so long and drawn out that's another day of video. This is years of abuse, and basically it's going to be years of documentation. So everything cannot be mentioned in one day in just one video. Just obviously that's, So anyway, it says authorize your treating physician to contact Dr. Moore. Dr. Rayel pretty much wrote the letter or the evaluation and then never ever spoke to him again. So I met him for like 3 hours, never spoke to him again. Everything was going to go through Dr. Moore at UCONN. He actually was a UCONN employee. He was, it says, Director of Health and Clinical Occupational Medicine for the purposes of verifying the evaluation to your treating physician. So basically, I had to meet with my doctor to get a clearance, and then everything had to be, they had to see the report, and then I had to have them submit it to Dr. Moore, right? Okay, it is the department's expectation that you fully cooperate with your treating physician and the treatment regimen determined to be appropriate. The adherence to this above requirement will be instrumental in determining what point you may potentially be able to return to your position as a transportation engineer technician at the Connecticut DOT in order to for the department to consider accepting a return to work clearance, even a limited return to work clearance. Your treating physician and Dr. Moore and UCHC must agree that you are capable of returning to work, interact with others as required, that you can begin to perform essential tasks of your position. Here, this is Dr. Moore's handwriting, this, where he wrote his name, UCHC, and then he wrote his phone number. And then he told me his fax number and email. Last page has James Ritter's email, contact information, how I have to, in the meantime, while I'm on administrative leave, surrender my badge, take any personal belongings, and do not visit. Mind you, this is paid administrative leave. While on leave, basically, then it has his email. So boom, and his phone number. So here we have the email, which I hope this phone doesn't die. I have multiple phones, but this one I don't really use anymore, but I do have it with the email, so I'll show you that. Boom. Immediately, I make an appointment. Mind you, all of this is transpiring right around my birthday. It's the holidays. It's very hard to get appointments. And apparently, it's hard to get psychiatric appointments because I never had a psychiatrist. So I immediately made a doctor's appointment just to get this done because I'm like, I don't really have any issue with getting it done. No big concern. So I just went and saw doctor, filled out this top form. This is what we call the medical cert. This is the medical cert they keep saying in that letter that I have to get for my return. So here it is. I filled this top part out. I went to Shifa Clinic on November 29th. I don't know if you can see that. It says the time, right? Basically, the concerns. It says, now, here's the thing. The medical cert is usually filled out when you want to take leave, right? It says must be submitted within 30 days of foreseeable leave if leave is FMLA qualifying. Now, this FMLA form is for someone requesting time off. As far as I understand it, I never requested time off. They gave me the time off, but then they had me fill this form out in order to return. So I'm not sure if this was even the proper form to fill out, but this was the form he gave me. He gave me not this particular one, but a P33A. So I filled it out for this upper part, right? Put in my information. And then it says does this patient's condition qualify under the categories described? So you hit yes and you click which one, check off which one. So it says chronic condition requiring treatment. So he says anxiety, which is basically what I'm telling him. This is the doctor I'm visiting. When did it happen? It started around this time. This is duration is ongoing. It pretty much is not stopping. The anxiety, heart palpitations, sleeping problems, because all stemming from this job. The date of the examination, November 29th. Basically, they gave me this letter. Go back to the date again. On November 26th. So I had a doctor's appointment 3 days later. Okay. The patient is, read that clearly, the patient is not presently incapacitated. So that when you check this off, it says I'm not incapacitated. Okay, this is November 29th. What return date to work date is, he puts return to work December 4th. Remember, I had to submit it by, I had to go back so you could see. I had to return, I had to do everything before the 3rd. Right? Before the 3rd. So I was on administrative leave until the 3rd. So he put the return date for the 4th, which as soon as administrative leave ends, right? I should be returning. Documented it just as he should. Patient has chronic anxiety and insomnia. Patient has should follow up with psychiatric. Okay? Because, they handle mental. He didn't give me any referral or anything like that. He just said follow up with someone. And then on here, I put no leave requested. I didn't request any leave. I'm going to return 12/4, signed it. He stamped it. In his office, did all that stuff. So, again, this was 11/29, return to work 12/4. Right? That's those 3 papers there. Now here we go with the email from me to James Ritter. Mind you, I have emails as well as fax because I have an e-fax that I use. So I faxed over the documents, and I also emailed James, and I CC'd my union rep. It says, should I return to work with regards to me? When should I return to work with regards to me returning on the 12/4? My medical cert was sent, as well as psychiatric intake visit complete. Regarding the letter dated, the 11/26 letter. If I'm not returning, then I ask the questions about, vacation pay and those things. Because what happened is I sent him it before 12/3. I sent it to him on, let me see, let me go back. So this is me talking to him about Dr. Rayel's false, this is me just complaining about the false thing. But I want to go to specifically when I was talking to him about, here he is. He says he received. So here's where we start talking. He did receive my 11/29 document. Medical cert has been received. It is currently being reviewed. However, I don't believe that it is acceptable. So he's saying it's not acceptable, but remember, The requirements were to contact a medical doctor of your choosing, provide the report, and, send it to to UCONN. So that was done, and it had a return date. Okay, understood. So he says it wasn't acceptable. He said, I don't believe, where is it? Right here. I don't believe it's acceptable. I will let you know when I hear something. I did not see the documents for psychiatric intake. Did you visit or the intake visit? Just reference on the medical cert for the follow-ups with psychiatric. If you have documents from the intake visit, please send it to Lisa. So mind you, Lisa is the administrative person in, I guess, the HR office. This is her email and stuff like that. I don't know who she is. I never met her. But it says Lisa will be your primary contact concerning your accruals, because I had asked a question about vacation time and things like that if I'm not returning. Because remember, I had the return date. At this point, you should be you planning. He says at this point you should start planning to use your accruals beginning on the 4th. So that obviously shows that he wasn't having me return. So now keep in mind, this is dated. This is dated December 3rd, 142. I had already sent this doctor paperwork before December 3rd, way before. So remember, everything was December 3rd was the final date to send everything in. So I ran down to I was calling around different doctor offices for psychiatric, and around this, I guess, December time, it looks like it's kind of busy. So that's, the holidays, Christmas time and stuff like that. People take that month off and whatnot. So anyway, I found a walk-in place because I'm like, I don't really know anybody that does it because I never had a history of it. So I found a place that was downtown or New Haven, and it's called APT. So you can see from APT, it says, my name is, I gave her the evaluation that Dr. Rayel did. And I just basically told her this situation, that I needed a letter after you do an evaluation. If you can just give me documentation that I met with you, what your take is on me, and basically after reading that and, filling out the evaluation form and things like that. And this is what she stated. This is Christine Tirado. My name is Christine Tirado, licensed clinician with APT. Basically, I did a walk-in. So I didn't know her. I don't know this agency. This is a copy. It says, this letter is to inform you, because remember, he requested it. So this letter is to inform you that Safiya Barr completed the biopsychosocial assessment with me today, requesting psychiatric evaluation. She's provided a copy of the evaluation completed by Dr. Rayel for clinical staff to review. Based on Mrs. Barr's reported symptoms and history, there is no recommendation for ongoing psychiatric treatment. Please refer to the attached psychosocial assessment completed today. Mrs. Barr is welcome to present for psychiatric evaluation should you feel necessary. Psychiatric evaluations are available once a psychos assessment is completed. Should there be any questions, comments, That's the clinician too. So she did the evaluation. She did her assessment. I guess psychiatric evaluation. She said there's no further recommendations at that time. And she faxed it over to UCONN Health because that's where he wanted it. So I basically did all this stuff that they requested. So here's his follow-up email. or I think here is I attached the stuff. I attached it. And then, boom, I sent him what she sent me, the Christine Torrado. And then he responded, "Hi, Safiya. Thank you for providing the letter from APT. As noted, APT Foundation letter that of the psychosocial being completed. You may now, this is him. Now you make arrangements for APT to move forward with the psychiatric evaluation. In doing so, completing another step prior to returning to work." So at this time, you can see now we are into December 3rd. He's continuing to say that I need further evaluations. I already had the first one with my doctor. He put obviously an anxiety. The second one was the walk-in. She didn't know me. She put no further psychiatric evaluation is needed or recommended. Her exact words was no evaluation. Let me see. There is no recommendations for ongoing psychiatric treatment. So once someone who is a licensed clinician says this, should, I don't know, let me not state. So anywho, he attached another P3A, because I have to do a new one now for a new psychiatric evaluation. A copy of psychiatric evaluation must be sent to Dr. Moore, which it was both times. It was sent to them from the doctor, and it was sent to them from this. This whole time, I'm calling lawyers. I'm getting the responses I'm getting are, "Oh, no one's gonna battle DOT. They're too powerful. They're gonna give you the runaround. There's no way you're gonna win a case like that against them. They have, lawyers and private offices on deck. You're gonna be fighting for years. They're gonna take all your money." Everyone was afraid to touch this case. So, what I'm learning and seeing from this will be in another video. But that was factual, that no one wanted to take my case for the various different reasons. So anyway, so he said, "Nope, go back to get the evaluation." That was dated December 3rd at 4:08 now. Right? So now I'm just scrolling. So here is me emailing him. I went back to do a walk-in. Oh, excuse me. It just went back up to the top. So I went back in and, just like I said, did another walk-in because I don't know anyone there. I just did a walk-in because I don't know them. So it says December 4th. I met with the psychiatrist this morning for my walk-in. However, she was unable to complete the form for the paperwork same day. So she verbally told me, that she had no further recommendations either. As soon as she completes it, I will fax it. So I met with her on December 4th. She had no recommendation. She did not give me the documentation, but she verbally told me. This was Dr. Amanda Shackell, Shackell, from APT. Now she's an APRN. So she told me no further treatment, and I just told him verbally. So with that, now I left her with this form to fill out. I gave her my supervisor's contact information. I gave her the Dr. Rayel's form or evaluation, and she had everyone's contact information that she needed to have to either fax it to Dr. from UCONN and also contact Shawn Beaulieu. Shawn Beaulieu's number is what I gave her. I guess overnight I met with her the 4th. And then I emailed James Ritter right away on December 4th, 3:53, and told him, hey, I just met with her, da-da-da. I return on the 5th now, and she put the chronic requirement treatment. Here we are. Here she said patient perceived, I think it's mistreatment. Let me see. I can't make out that word, but basically she said of her employer is causing her, okay, something that is causing her, something with her employer is causing her great anxiety, and something, the ability to perform her duties. It is unclear her mistrust and her perceived misconduct at work. I'm just trying to make out what she's saying. That's for the approximate date, condition, and commenced. She's saying it's unclear. And then the probable duration of the condition, unknown. The probable duration of incapacity. This is what she put. She said, without medication trial, I do not anticipate any change. Now, keep in mind, she told me verbally no recommendations, just for, factual note purposes. But like I said, that's verbally she told me. So now we have here where that December 4th return date on the other form went from December 4th returning to now patient is incapacitated. So as of December 5th, I became incapacitated due to this paperwork here. I recommend trial, which is likely a trial of medication trial, which is likely to help, but the patient is not interested in this at this time. Of course, no, I wasn't. And then regimen medication. She does a lot of writing here. Without additional medication trial, I do not anticipate she will be able to perform any of her duties. This is the 5th. Okay, so yeah, because she wrote this up, and then the next day was when I came in on the 5th, and then that's when she put the incapacitated, and it says patient returned to ATP, and she will be trying the medication. Now, I still have the medication. I'm just going to open it up right now. Now, remember, this is all anxiety that I told them that I have. This is what she gave me. And she told me she recommended medication. Great anxiety. Now, when you look this medication up, let me see, I'm going to put it on let's see what color this is. These are pink. So now this medication is for schizophrenia. So when you look it up, I'm just going to pour it. I guess I'll pour it right here. So it should be 30. Ooh. Should be 30. All right, so let's count them. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 12. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, right? So I just wanted you to see that. This is like my little evidence here. This is what they wanted me to take. Like, I'm just going to pull it up real quick. That way you can see the side effects. Like, I don't even want to touch it because who knows what it might get into my skin or something. So, quetiapine, right? Quetiapine. It is used to treat schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, and depression. What is it mainly for? Mental illness, to treat schizophrenia. Let's look up the side effects. Side effects. Side effects are feeling sleepy during the day, cannot drive, headache, dizzy, irregular periods, all these things. I think I remember reading before, though, it caused delusional. Well, anyway, I believe when I read it, I have it on, I think it's WebMD or something like that. It actually says the side effects are delusional disorder and things like that. So you take a medication that would turn around and, cause another problem. So I'm assuming, no, let's not make assumptions, but this is a business card. This video is really made for anyone who's interested in knowing what is really going on, because I know there's a lot that's been said and people are wondering what really truly happened. And I know I took a while to divulge, even though this is not even the end of it. This is just really one piece of the pie. So after that, as soon as that incapacitated letter hit, which she told me when I met with her the 5th, she talked to my supervisor, and then she talked to Dr. Moore, and then next thing you know, I'm incapacitated, and etc. And so that's when Lisa Cheesbro wrote the letter for me to take the FMLA, which I never requested, but this is a way or a method that they used, the way, not a way. This is the method they used in order for me to be on FMLA, right? And have to use my, vacation time and things like that. So now, because after that, I said, now I guess it is time for me to actually get a real psychiatrist that, not real, but a psychiatrist that is going to do a thorough evaluation, because that person was a walk-in. So I got a referral from the original doctor that I met with at first, which was Dr. Hussein Mohammed, the one in Ellington. He referred me to the Dr. Dada Mohammed, which is a psychiatric MD. And after that, I end up meeting with him and going over to him. So now, he didn't have any appointment until, I think his appointment was December 11th. So if you could see from the business card, I was originally supposed to meet back with her, Dr. Amanda, but I decided that she didn't have my best interest. So I found this doctor here with the referral. And so, because, well, actually, no, I take that back. I did meet back with her, and she still kept marking me as incapacitated. Actually, here it is right here. So that is from her. So once I saw, that was December 11th with her. So I saw she didn't have any intention of actually assisting. So I got the referral, which is what I just showed you, to go to this doctor, Dr. Dada, and Muhammad Dada. So I end up meeting with him. He didn't have any appointment. So from December 11th until December 19th, I had to wait. So the first time I met with him, he spoke with me, but then he said it was too early to make a determination on me because it was his first time meeting me. So he's an actual MD. So I guess that was how he did his thing. But APT, she made her decision after meeting me for that walk-in. So I guess every doctor office does it different. So he didn't give me any documentation on the 19th. He waited until the next visit and met with me again for a certain duration, which was on the 26th. So from the 19th to the 26th, he then met with me, and then he determined that he put me back capacitated, as you can see, and he put anxiety, coping with stress at work, reassess in 4 weeks. So, and, he put return to work. He put a return to work date of 12/27. So he basically said return to work 12/27, anxiety, follow up with him. And then again, date of return to work 12/27, supervisor Shawn Beaulieu. I have this in here, I think, just to show the hierarchy. So this just shows the district in a whole, the different units of DOT, and down here you see the different districts for construction and engineering. So this is where John Dunham ended up being, but this is us here, this section. That's kind of irrelevant. So then, basically, throughout this whole process, I was keeping in contact with Cheesbro, Bro, and Ritter, which, you remember, the date for my return was the 27th, and I met with him on the 26th. So if I scroll all the way down, this is all one email. I think it's 44 transactions back and forth. So the doctor submitted it to Dr. Moore yesterday. This is me basically letting him know what are my next steps for return. I already got the document to say I can return December 27th. And then basically he didn't ever respond to that. He never gave me a return date. He just said, I'm waiting for a return email from Dr. Moore. I hope to hear from him soon. Oop, my internet went out on that phone. So basically, he never responded back. Let me see if I could get that internet back on, because I don't know why did it just turn off like that. I don't really use this phone. This is just kind of like, let me see if I can get that email back up. Yeah, he never ever stated from that point on, never contact me ever again. That was our last emails. And then from there on, I spoke with the union person with regards to return dates and things like that. So then the last problem that I had with regard to this medical, or I shouldn't say the last, but one of the most recent was I applied for life insurance February of this year, 2023, and I'm going to just show you that I got denied. So the denial came in where I was surprised. I said, "Wait, he said he found due to your history, due to your history found, you wouldn't be able to get approved for insurance, life insurance at that." So now I really don't want to put the person's name of the life insurance provider on here, but what I will show my name, and I will show that it says, look at that down below. This is a screenshot. I do have the paper document as well. It says that I was not approved because of my history of schizophrenia and delusional disorder resulting in blah blah blah. Reconsideration on this underwritten policy is not available. So basically, I was denied life insurance for me and my children, all because of this psychiatric and delusional disorder that is being notated on my files. I went to APT, as you can see, February 3rd. So as soon as I got that letter stating that I was denied for the insurance, which was, like I said, is February, I immediately went down here because I knew the only two places, well, not the only two, but during this duration, the people that said I had delusional disorder, I should say. So I went here first, and then UCONN is next. But you can see that I went there. It shows my patient number, which I'm putting publicly online at this point because it's really like, the reason why I'm doing this is because everyone is making assumptions of what possibly might have happened. And with this information, it's like whenever you make an assumption on someone's mental state or things like that, wonder what happened to her, you go off of the one side of the story. So here's the other side. And you can see every drug test I've ever taken in my life, I've always passed. It's negative because I do not have any drugs in my system. I do not use drugs. I don't take prescription drugs. And so I guess all of these things are just saying financial and privacy policies are in place, drug records policies in place, psychiatric records. These are privacy policies, but in reality, it's really not privacy because they were able to talk with my supervisor in UCONN, all because of a letter that I was forced to have to give that information out. And as I'm scrolling through, you could actually see how this is me requesting my record. You can see breathalyzer data results. I have master PhD. excuse me, not, I don't have a PhD, but I was going for my PhD at that time. So if you just look on each page just basically is showing the notes of the evaluator from APT. Mental health screening 2, this is, in the notes, this is what they have when I went to request my documents. It says, anxiety disorder, substance abuse, NA, none of that stuff. I'm not going to read every single thing, but, you can see 12-3, Christine Torrado's notes in there. That's the same letter I read before. She put her notes in here. And note that there is no other documentation at all for me at this company. Now, where is, remember, this is the end. Reviewed by Christine G. Nothing else is in there. Remember, 12-4 and 12-5, I met with Amanda Shackell. Look what is in there for 12-4. Insurance card. That's all I see there. Christine documents her stuff, 12-3. She got the letter there. Nothing for 12-4 except insurance information. So, there, shall we say, some information is missing in the report? Because I do not see the psychiatric evaluation. I went down there and they wanted to know what was the reason I was coming for my report. I said I was just denied life insurance, and I need to know who can take this off of my record. I am a person that's never had any psychiatric problems, any medical, the prescriptions, any of that stuff. And I live my life all this time. I'm 41. Don't even do drugs, don't drink, don't smoke. And this is not my legacy. My children, I made this video for multiple reasons. I think I mentioned some in the beginning and I mentioned some now because the truth will be told, as well as I would like people to see it because maybe there's someone out there that actually knows how to assist me with regards to getting this stuff off my record when you're dealing with powerful entities. I think it's about almost 2 hours long, so I'm going to be posting it pretty soon on YouTube. And if you see it on YouTube, obviously you know where it came from. So, toodles. Next time I'll show my face. But, bye.